passionate about giving back to the program that has made us who we are today. I told you about my past and present in 4-H, but I know my story isn't done yet. I truly believe that through 4-H, I have been given the skills to lead for a lifetime, and such a truth lights a fire within me to promote this program as much as humanly possible. Because of 4-H, I have a network of people that encourage and support me every step of the way, and I have had the opportunities of a lifetime, and I know that this program has had an impression on me that will last forever. If there's anything that I hope that you've learned from me tonight, it's that 4-H still has the reputation of changing the lives of youth for the better, and I am a product of that. We are still an organization that works to make the best better for our club, community, country, and world, because 4-H understands the impact that youth have on our world, and it is our mission to ensure that that impact is positive. I cannot thank this community enough for its support of the 4-H program, and any support for us does not go unnoticed. I hope I represent 4-H well in its efforts to show gratitude for everyone here. And I hope that you all feel welcome to reach out to me or any of my fellow 4-Hers about the greatness that this program is doing and is going to do. I will leave you tonight with a quote that has been a staple throughout my 4-H career, and I hope it has an influence on you all tonight as well. Serving my generation with excellence will in turn mean that my generation can lead with excellence. Thank you.
Thank you, Molly. When my kids were pretty young, I heard about a ham contest with 4-H. I said, I got to get these kids in this. So we went to over at Scottsville and entered the contest, and I'm telling you, I'm the president of the Marion County Cattlemen's, and Miss Terry Webb does an outstanding job with the young cattlemen's, with the junior cattlemen's, and with the 4-H. And I want you to understand, and I want to tell you, your kids, your grandkids, make contact with Terry and get them involved. It's a great thing, no doubt in my mind. Congratulations, Terry, you do a great job. All right, our next speaker is Miss Kelly Craft. Now, I've never met her. I've never met her sister, Micah, but I know everything in the world about their daddy. We have spent many hours in the mud rolling in those hills down at Finney, doctoring some old scrubby cow. So I know these girls are good. There's no doubt in my mind. And so at this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Kelly Craft.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Whoa. Well, I can tell you that there are a lot of efforts in life to define happiness. But I think being right here this evening at a farm to table defines happiness. What do you all think?
Amen.
Being in front of farmers and families gathered with friends, with food on our tables, food that has been harvested by Esther Family Farms, food that has been prayed over, and food that is feeding the world. My former position under the Trump administration was the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. That year, we were given the Nobel Peace Prize, the World Food Program. But you know what? It's the farmers of America that really deserve the Nobel Peace Prize. So thank you so much for each of you who bring food to the World Food Program in order to feed the world. I could talk about this evening, I could just reminisce about being from Barron County, but I'll tell you, today I had that opportunity. I spent my afternoon at the stockyards, and farmer after farmer came up to me to talk about my daddy, Bobby Guilfoyle. I talked a lot about our family table was the center of our life. Our family table and 6 yellow chairs. One of the farmers, Mr. Botts, came up to me today to say, you know, I used to come home with your daddy for dinner, and you and your brother always got up and gave your seats to myself and Rhonda and Charles are here. They can tell you that we always gave up. So my brother and I joke that we were really raised at the card table. But we were so proud. And to be able to reminisce today at the stockyards about my mom and my dad made me just beam with pride. So it gave me that opportunity to really reminisce. And I will tell you that what I learned from my daddy was that farm life is the foundation of family. Farm life breeds character. And farmers are the real environmentalists.
Wow.
They don't worship the earth. They respect the earth. They are the earth's partners.
Yes.
Farmers, to me, are gods of patience. Hard years, hard work. But something tells me that linking with the soil, there's something about that soil that connects us.
Yes.
Those people with dirty hands and sweat-beaded faces, those are the people that you want to associate with. Those are the people that you want to grow old with. Those are the people that you want seated at your table, because those are the people that are so connected with God. And this reminds me tonight, on this very cold, chilly night, of our statesman Henry Clay. Henry Clay once said, "There's going to come a time in the winter when the winter will ask you, 'What were you doing all summer?'" Well, I know what Barron County farmers were doing all summer, because we are able to have this incredible harvest this evening because of it. Thank you for including me. Thank you for loving my father. There's nothing better than coming home to the family table and knowing that my parents were here. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, our next speaker is Miss Mary Shaw, our FFA president. I know a little bit about the FFA. Been in it all my life. My dad, I got a picture of my dad. He won a hay contest in FFA when he was in high school. The FFA, I have to say, is my favorite organization. But right now, it's 850,000 students strong, 850,000 members in the United States. So, Miss Mary, congratulations to being the Barron County president of the FFA.
Hi, and like he said, I'm the president of our Barron County FFA chapter. You know, FFA means so much to this county. You know, we are the future farmers that could be sitting here one day and will be sitting here one day. So I just want to start off as Barron County FFA chapter. We're sitting over here. We just want to thank you. Thank you for just being there for us and always supporting us. We know that you all were once in our shoes. And we think about that often. We think about the legacy you all have left behind. We have so many artifacts and so many scrapbooks set up in our FFA, and we look back and we come to these events and we know who you all are because of that. We hear your names at our events. We just hear them around the community, and we recognize that. And personally, you know, I want to go ahead and set the stereotype that FFA just isn't full of farmers and boys who wear boots and girls who go around to rodeos and, you know, try to find cowboys. Personally, you know, I was in the FFA New Horizons magazine, and I take a lot of pride in that. That's the national magazine. And, you know, when the magazine came out, and they had just come out with a new number of 850,000 members that reaches from, as we say in our opening ceremonies, Alaska to Puerto Rico and Maine to the Virgin Islands. You know, that's me on the front cover of that magazine, and you think about the alumni that also get that magazine, the schools that get that magazine, it could have reached maybe 1 million people. And my story wasn't even about farming. My story was about me being a pilot and flying supplies out to Mayfield. You know, and I really hope I inspire people that, you know, that we aren't just, you know, the farmers, but we are still involved in the farming community. You know, I've always been raised on a family farm, and, you know, I've showed cattle all my life, and even some of these members over here haven't even been raised on a farm. But we are advocating for agriculture. We know where our food comes from, and we want people to know that. And we know that that starts with you all. You all pass that wisdom down to us, And we want people to know that our food is good for our body, and that the meat is good for us, and the vegetables are good for us, and that we need it all for us. And then that's never going to go away. So I just want to thank every farmer that's here tonight. And we want to thank you again for the legacy you all have left behind for us and the foundation you all have set for us in Barron County, because we truly know that we wouldn't be where we are today without you all. We hope to keep that light shining. We look up to you all more than you all would ever know, and we pass by these farms that maybe have been in the family for many generations, and we look up to that. And we want to keep farms going, even if we might not, continue farming as ourselves. We will keep advocating for you all and advocating for y'all's family. So thank you all for coming here tonight, and thank you all for always supporting us. We really appreciate it. And if you ever want to tell you our stories, we take your stories and we take them to heart. Even if we look at you sometimes like you're crazy, we still take them to heart, and we will always keep them by us. So if you ever see us in a blue jacket or with our polos on or anything like that, and you ever want to tell us your story, we would love to hear it, and we would love to take that to heart. So thank you for everything you do. Once again, we really appreciate everything you do for our FFA and our members and our alumni and everything else. So thank you.
Thank you, Mary. This next gentleman's coming forward is our Commissioner of Agriculture, Mr. Ryan Quarles.
Yeah.
Now, I listened to Mr. Quarles at the Kentucky State Convention of the Cattlemen's, and this man knows agriculture. I'm telling you, he knows agriculture, he knows what's going on, and he's been a good commissioner, and it's an honor to introduce him right now, Mr. Ryan Quarles.
Well, good evening. How about a round of applause for not just those who prepared our meal tonight, but the farmers that grew it as well. We're so appreciative of that. Our farm-to-table scene continues to take off all across Kentucky. I love being in Barron County for several reasons. It's the largest dairy county in Kentucky. It's the largest cattle county in Kentucky. And it's the home of two very special friends of mine, H. Barlow and Ambassador Kelly Craft. I was always glad to be with friends here. And for the 10th year in a row, Barron County is officially the #1 agriculture county in Kentucky. And that's something you all should be proud of. I'm going to start you off with a question tonight. Raise your hand if you've ever been in 4-H or FFA, and just look around. I know that tonight's benefit is going to help those chapters out. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it hadn't been for 4-H and FFA. I remember my first speech, I was so nervous. I learned parliamentary procedure in FFA. My first trip to Washington, D.C. was with the 4-H group, the same trip my dad went on back in the 1960s. And so for our rural counties, all of us here tonight can appreciate the rural way of life and what those two organizations have done for countless Kentuckians that transform young people into leaders every single day. And I, like Ambassador Craft, enjoy growing up in rural Kentucky because it's here where you learn about Kentucky values, that when you shake somebody's hand, it means something, that when you make a promise, you better deliver on it. And it's here in rural Kentucky where I learned about the value of hard day's work, because just like our farmers in the crowd tonight, we don't quit when the clock hits 4:30. You continue until the job is done. And Kentucky agriculture continues to punch above its weight. And right here in Barron County, you have 1,899 farms. Y'all are farming 253,000 acres. And here's the kicker. Your farmers, but by the way, 31% of which are female, one of the highest percentages in the state. That's right, we're celebrating. Your farmers bring in over $170 million worth of economic activity right here in Barron County, driving the local economy, and that's something that we can all share in. And if you look Kentucky-wide, this county brings in over 2% of all the economic agriculture activity across our state. And we have to remind ourselves, sometimes in Frankfort, obviously Washington, D.C., that farming is about jobs. It's the second biggest employer in our state, only behind manufacturing. It is also responsible for $45 billion worth of economic activity across our Commonwealth. 20% of the entire GDP is farming right here in the Commonwealth. And we're not just good at growing crops and raising livestock, but we actually add value to this. I'm going to ask you another question here. Raise your hand if you've ever had a biscuit from McDonald's in your life. I think there's some liars out there. I'm pretty sure everybody's had a biscuit from McDonald's at some point. If you've ever had a biscuit anywhere on the East Coast of the United States, that biscuit came from Kentucky. All of it. If you ever gone to Cracker Barrel and ordered sausage, and there's 650 or so locations across the country, 100% of that sausage came from Kentucky. And so it's not just about cows, plows, or sows. It's about adding value and creating economic activity for our 76,000 farms across Kentucky. And boy, do we need it. Because 2 years ago, during the heights of the COVID-19 pandemic, we didn't exactly know what we were dealing with, but Kentucky agriculture, we focused on a couple things. Number one, there's two groups of people. There's two groups of people that deserve accolades during COVID. Number one would be our healthcare heroes. Those in our nursing homes, long-term care facilities, and our hospitals that to this day continue to help keep us safe. But if there's a second group of people that deserve a round of applause, it's our Kentucky farmers, because they didn't take a single telecommute day. You can't zoom it in on a farm, and they not just fed a hungry Commonwealth, a hungry nation, but let's be honest, American farmers feed untold millions around the world, and they deserve a round of applause tonight for everything you all did to punch above your weight class, rise above to the challenge during the height of a global pandemic as well. Now, we learned a couple things. during COVID. We learned that our supply chain needed some strengthening. And if you went to the grocery store back in April 2020, you went to the meat section, you may have been limited on how much meat you could buy or what cut of meat may not have been available. Well, we did something bold. At the Ag Development Board, we decided to invest $7 million of tobacco settlement money back into Kentucky-owned, Kentucky-proud meat processors, including right here in Barron County, so that we're not as dependent upon those in the Midwest to process our meat as well. And that's a bold investment that we're going to continue to have for years to come. And then during COVID, we had to make sure we would feed people. A lot of Kentuckians lost their jobs. A lot of kids had to transition to learning at home. And so we worked with our school systems, Barron County school systems, so we could pass out food to those learning at home, but also take care of those who may have perhaps went to a food bank or a food pantry for the first time in their life. And that's when I picked up the phone and called H, because using USDA grant money, milk that came out of Barron County dairy farms was served free of charge to Kentuckians all across our state, right here. And we're really proud of that statistic, and that you all kind of really picked up the baton and took care of us during tough times. Now, agriculture is facing some hard times right now. We have out of control inflation. I don't know if anyone here is trying to hire anybody right now, but it's tough to hire folks, but it's even harder to find someone who wants to work out on the family farm on nights like tonight and get their hands dirty as well. But Barron County's done something that other counties need to look at, and that's an investment in your 4-H and FFA programs. Whether it's Paula Terry, the FFA folks here tonight, I want to say a sincere thank you for what you all have done, because when you go to the state fair, this county dominates, and we're really proud of that. But one thing that you can do, if you would like to make a donation to their chapters tonight, there's an additional thing that you can do through our office. I know that your county clerk is here, Helena Birdwell. We have a program called Ag Tag, that whenever farmers come back and renew their farm license plate every March of each year, they're asked a simple question: would you like to invest in the future of Kentucky agriculture? And most farmers say yes. They take $10 of hard-earned cash out of their back pocket and they give it to 4-H, FFA, and our Kentucky Proud programs. And Barron County continues to be one of the top 5 most generous counties in the entire state supporting 4-H and FFA. So please do that as well. So tonight, I just want to say I'm honored to be here tonight. I'll be back Thursday night speaking to the Cattlemen's group. Looking forward to that. But I'm going to leave you with this. We should be proud that we're part of the safest, most abundant food supply system in the world. When you look around the world, when I travel, when the ambassador serves our country, we know that we have it pretty good here in the United States. When less than 2% of our population feeds the rest of our country, it allows us to go to space. It allows us to invest in healthcare, allows us to research. It allows the rest of society to function. During COVID, some of us called us an essential business, but the fact of the matter is, we're necessary. That I'm proud that I played just a small role in the safest, most abundant food supply system in the world. And because of that farm upbringing that I had, working in tobacco and chasing down cattle that broke through the fence, I'm glad that I'm here where I am tonight. So thank you all so very much. Let's make sure we continue to invest in the future of Kentucky agriculture. And I'm so proud that next year you all will continue to be the #1 agriculture county in Kentucky. Thank you all so much for having me tonight. Thank you.
Okay, we got one other thing that I need to bring up. My wife, she texts me, and I always forget something. Miss Paula Terry, you are the queen of 4-H, and you always have been, so we need to give her a hand. I'm sorry I misstepped on that. I wasn't even thinking about it. But when my kids went to the ham contest, Miss Terry took care of them and helped them through it. So I'm sorry that I forgot you. Thank you, my wife.
I am Jamie Beely Bird, and I'm the co-founder and director of Helping the Hardworking. And through this opportunity, we've been able to not only thank farmers in our community by a nice dinner and a freezing night. I'm so sorry. If the wind would have just worked with us a little bit better, we might have had a little bit warmer night. But, this is awesome. This is exactly what we wanted to do. We wanted to thank farmers, and we want to give back to the youth that are pursuing interest in those. And thank you to every person that sponsored tonight. Let's give our sponsors a round of applause. And let's give Mr. Joe Mike Moore a round of applause as well. He did an excellent job. I'd like to give another round of applause to our title sponsor, Miss Kelly Craft. Thank you very much, and Joe. And for Mr. Ryan Quarles, Commissioner, for coming down and joining us tonight as well. Let's give him a round of applause as well. So, the results of the donors and everyone that's here tonight is that we're able to donate tonight. Helping the Hardworking will be donating $9,000 to your FFA middle school, high school, and 4-H chapters. So everybody, thank you again for every part of that. What we would like to do, I have Autumn, here tonight, is with us tonight, and she's going to, Autumn Chambers, she's doing professional pictures. We would like to do a picture with Miss Craft and also Mr. Quarles with our 4-H and our FFA members that are here, and anyone else that would like to get pictures, make sure we'll post them, and they're free for everyone that came tonight. I hope that this becomes an annual event, and I plan to work hard to make that happen, and we might look at September. Okay, you see where I'm going with that? Yeah, so seriously, from the bottom of my heart, I thank every one of you all for attending tonight and for sponsoring. If you ever would like to be more involved with Helping the Hardworking, just email me. It's a great organization, and we're able to do wonderful events like this. So thank you again to everyone for coming, and just go home and get warm. Make sure we want to do pictures at the end. I need all my FFA members and 4-H. They're up here, please, and Ms. Kraft. And Mr. Quarles, if you'd like to come up here, please. Thank you all. Thank you to all the farmers, too, that we were able to get everything from them for this event.